Hello, I'm Claire Louise Hay from BeHealing.com, and I've made a new pick a card read for you. This time it's what's in your blind spot. What aren't you seeing about your relationship or about your love life in general? Maybe it's something that you've kind of got used to and everyone's doing around you, and you think it's kind of normal and serving you when it's not. And so we're going to go into that. I've made 3 readings for you here: the crystal, the flower, and the shell. And to each one of those, I've done a deeper dive as well. That's going into, it's an extended reading that goes into guidance for you in the situation you find yourself in, guidance for you in this relationship if you are in a relationship or in this relationship pattern that you're in, and also timelines and how this might all work out, and timelines on that as well. So how you might progress from here, the changes that you make after this reading. So yeah, so if you're interested in those deeper dives toward the end of each of these readings, there'll be a link that pops up there. You can also find a link for that in the description box and in the comments, where you can also find your fast forward timestamps to skip along to your reading. So all you need to do now is take your pick. Which one do you want? Would you like the moonstone crystal? Would you like the flower? Or the shell? Take your pick right now, and I will see you in your reading. Don't forget to click like on this video down there. Click that subscribe button along with that notification bell as well to hear more from me. I do daily energy updates. I do 3 pick a card reads a week, and I also go live in my show Psychic Cafe 3 times a week as well. Would love to see you in there. And so enjoy your reading, and I will see you in there. So if you chose this moonstone crystal, then this one's for you. Let's find out what's in your blind spot. What aren't you seeing about this relationship? What are you blind to here? So as always, crystals, there's going to be a deeper dive to this. That is an extended reading that goes with this. In that, I'm going to go into guidance for you, more guidance for you. In the situation you find yourself in right now, whether you've got to heal something, see things differently, heal yourself, did I say that already? Change your mind about something, do things differently. We'll go into that. Let's go into guidance for you in this relationship as well, how to make it work really well, what you need to know about them, what do you need to know about yourself, possible dynamics. Also how this is all going to go down as well, or how it might go down with possible timelines. So if you're interested in that, toward the end of the reading, there's going to be a link that pops up there. You can find a link for that in the description box and in the comments below as well. So let's get some cards out for you and get into what's in your blind spot. What aren't you seeing here about this relationship? Empowerment. Having to stand in your power. So this could be a relationship where you're not fully standing in your power, where you're kind of deferring to them in some way, or it could be someone that's controlling as well, that wants that power over you. Is your person making decisions for you in any way, or are you, they might not be doing that, you might be doing that, you might be deferring your decisions. In other words, not necessarily as blatantly as saying, oh, I don't know what I want to eat, you make that decision for me. That's a blatant way of doing it, right? But it could be just you always questioning yourself about decisions that you're making, always thinking of them first. What would they want me to do? That kind of thing. That it can be in an extreme form, walking on eggshells and being afraid of them and their reactions to our choices. But I feel it's more subtle than that. There's just a subtleness about what you're not seeing here of how you're giving your power away within this relationship, and that's got to change, right? For a healthy relationship here. So let's see if we can do that with you. What are you seeing? What's your blind spot in this relationship? Warrior. So again, about empowerment. This is about you standing up for yourself, being the warrior, being assertive, accepting that warrior side of yourself. It's a very powerful place to be when we can do that. It's not a wrongness of you. So I'm feeling that you crystals, you might just be downplaying your energy, subjugating yourself in a way to your person. You know, especially like women have been told, kind of been taught to do that or encouraged to do that. You know, don't be so big or loud or bossy and all of these things. Don't be so empowered. It's pretty much what we've been said. Don't take up space, be thin, you know. But yes, we absolutely should be taking up space. Let's find out more about this for you. Your blind spot. Tell us about Crystal's blind spot then. What's your blind spot? 3 of Wands. There's an element of waiting here for the perfect moment. So some of you could just be outright scared of your person, really, of the reactions. That might be warranted, so they might have shown themselves as slightly abusive or a lot abusive. But it might just be that you've been around abusive people, and so you're a little bit sheepish about expressing yourself or standing up for yourself. Always waiting for the perfect moment to do that, as if, you know... It's that thing we learn it as kids, don't we? We look at our parents and it's like we learn to know, to read them and their emotions, and like, when's a good time to ask for them to sign this thing, or to tell them that I broke that thing, that kind of thing. So that can be a warning sign, right? You might not be seeing that about yourself, that you're always waiting for the perfect time to tell them about something. It's a warning sign in yourself. It might just be about you, it might be about, as I said, previous relationships that you've had that have you feeling fearful of people's reactions. Because let's face it, if we've been around abusive people, we are going to be fearful of people's reactions to us standing up for ourselves and all that. 7 of Wands. This is like an indifference. It's a kind of an energy where we don't want to look at it. It's your blind spot because you don't want to look at it. Like, what elephant in the room? I don't see an elephant in the room. I don't smell elephant dung. I can't see it. Could be something that friends are pointing out to you as well, and you don't want to see it. You might be making excuses for them. It's something that you don't want to see here. So it's even worse. It's not just a blind spot, it's something that you definitely don't want to see. It's like you don't want to face it. Okay, let's find out more. Let's get another one out. Tell us about the blind spot here. Choices. You don't trust your choices. Okay. Yes. Now, crystals, I feel that you guys have experienced abusive relationships in the past, and you are afraid of the choices that you're making this time. Afraid. You're just wary. You're wary that they're going to be the same like this. So afraid of your own choices there. Let's get some clarity out on all of this. The 3 of Wands. Well, I've got the 3 of Wands waiting for the perfect time to say something. Managing someone else's emotions because of anxiety, because of healing. So I do feel like for a lot of you, this is because you've been in abusive relationships in the past. I don't think it's about your person. Well, some of you still could be choosing abusive relationships, but that comes from not healing ourselves, right? When we do that, not recognizing those telltale signs, or not empowering ourselves when we do notice those signs and just getting out of it straight away. So you've got some healing to do here of yourself. So there's a general anxiety that you've got about being in relationships. It's scary to you because you haven't yet healed yourself from the past. So how do we heal ourselves from the past in this situation? Well, what I did was I was just like an investigator inside of myself. What is it that I'm doing here? Like, I know that I was a victim to these people in the past, but and it wasn't my fault. But I know that there's something I'm doing, because I look around and I see my friends not getting into those abusive relationships. Well, some of them I see getting into abusive relationships, but some people that don't. It's like, well, there must be something that I'm doing here. And so, yeah, and I got it down to 1, because I was abused as a child. It felt normal to me, and oftentimes I was mistaking abuse for love. I was actually attracted to abusive people because it felt normal to me. So my feelings were aligned with family, with abuse. I would feel strongly for someone that was abusive. I had to recognize that there was something off with my feelings and not to trust them, my attraction to people. I had to be brutal with myself in that way. Not brutal, but I had to be 100% honest with myself in that way. Okay, so my feelings are piqued by the familiar, and the familiar is not good for me. And I'm totally getting that for you too, because the familiar is not good for you. So you'd be very wary of your feelings. So you're gonna have to choose more with your head while you're healing yourself here. So there was that. And then there was the realizing, well, I was very fearful of violence a lot of the time because of all of the violence that I'd experienced. And that was causing me to not want to confront, not want to fight, not want to set boundaries, not want to empower myself. So not only was I getting attracted to the abusers, but once I was in there, I was very afraid of standing up for myself, like terrified of doing that, and for fear of violence. And I had to step into my more aggressive side and learn to empower myself. And actually, learning Muay Thai, Thai boxing, kickboxing. Now I know that I can handle any kind of situation because I can physically empower myself. But it's more than just physically empowering myself. Learning it caused me to be able to empower myself in many different ways. So I can trust myself now to stand up for myself in any situation. I can handle myself physically, emotionally. I can get into that confrontation without fearing it anymore. So that was an important step for me. These are just steps I took, right? So, for an example. What else did I do? So there were various steps to healing myself like this. To stop this nightmare, to stop this anxiety. So you're experiencing anxiety around this. What's behind this? What's behind this for crystals? So it's all good. You're going through these lessons and it's all good. Your person's triggering this in you and it's all good. Now, I'm not saying that your person isn't abusive or whatever. I'm not getting whether they are or not. This reading is all about you. And the patterns that you've got and the block the thing that you're not seeing, So I'm not saying that this is a good relationship, it's all good. I'm saying that it's good that you're getting these lessons now and that you're learning it, especially because you're watching me. And so it's not just like, oh God, this thing again, I've just been through this relationship and I'm not seeking any help. You're watching this, so you're getting the help there. Right, so the Seven of Wands is a definite avoidance to see it there. See how she's turning her head to the side. She doesn't want to look at it at all. It could be, you could have an exact similar thing that I had, a fear of violence, which has you avoiding confrontation so much that you don't even want to see those red flags that they're all waving there, or that abusive thing, or and it could be something simple. It could be just like them. It could be just like, they don't do the dishes or something, and instead of telling them or asking them to do the dishes, you just do it for fear of, either waiting for the perfect moment to tell them when they're in a good mood, or just do it yourself for fear of telling them, Eight of Materials. What's behind that? Huh? Hard work paying off. Wait. So if you're doing things because you don't want to ask them to do it because you're afraid of their reaction, and so you're kind of ignoring how it's making you feel, you'll be feeling resentful and things like that. You'll be feeling burdened by it. You think that your hard work's going to pay off? No, it's not. It's going to carry on. It's going to carry on in that pattern. They're not suddenly going to come good. If you keep on giving to them, they're not going to suddenly come good and start giving to you. What else could this be? It feels to me like you're putting the work in the wrong area, thinking it's going to turn around, but it won't. It's going to carry on as it is. There's a definite avoidance of confrontation going on here. For fears, it's all pointing toward that you've got healing to do on yourself here to get yourself out of a pattern of avoidance. It's kind of a walking on eggshells kind of an energy. Yes. Truth is behind that. Oh, okay. So some of you are avoiding asking the hard questions. So say if your partner is cheating on you, or you think that they might be cheating on you, you're deathly terrified of asking them for the repercussions, or maybe even fearful of finding out the truth. You would rather ignore it than find out the truth. So there's a whole lot of avoidance here. And it's because you're giving your power away to them. You're letting them take all the power in this relationship. That was another thing as well, is that part of my healing was, which I did with a therapist. Like, if this reading is resonating with you, I highly suggest you get yourself a therapist. Because yeah, it was instrumental in my healing all of the abuse. And she did role playing with me of how to deal with my family. And so she's like, okay, well, what situations could you be within your family again? Like, when would you see them? What situation would you see them? And let's just role play. What might they say then? And then she pretended to be them. And teaching me how to actually have those interactions and empower myself and stay in control of that relationship, have my boundaries and all of that. And it was amazing because I only saw my family once after that. And the time that I saw them, I didn't even have to put any of it in practice, because just that change in my energy that I was prepared to. It's like with me and my white eye now, because I'm prepared, fully prepared to stand up for myself and fight and protect myself. I don't get attacked anymore. I used to get attacked all the time when I wasn't prepared to fight back. So as soon as you change your energy, people don't even try anymore because they recognize it in you. Oh, she'll fight me. I better not pick on her. Or she will ask me. She'll confront me. I better not mess around. Yeah? Yes. But here you have this Seven of Cups, so you're kind of worried about your choices here. It's a worry about choices. I'm getting strongly here. Wow, 3 cards out with that. Worrying about your choices, the Empress, 4 of Materials, and the 6 of Materials. You're worried about your choices. Okay, so the Empress, she empowers herself. She really respects herself and she empowers herself. So you're worried about choices. You're worried about what will happen if you do become the Empress. Won't, like, everyone reject you then? Won't energy be held back from you then? There's something in you that thinks that you have to take this role, this subjugated kind of a role in a relationship to even get in one in the first place. So you might have only met people that want that kind of control over you. Oh. Yeah, it almost feels like you think that you need to be in that kind of a role and not be the Empress. I mean, hold back from that Empress, hold back from that being powerful to be in a relationship in the first place. So you might have a belief that the Empress doesn't get the worm. She does. I mean, she doesn't get the worm. She gets the Emperor. Everyone else gets the worms, the toads. The Empress gets the Emperor. Oh, I've never noticed that before. There's money all over that tree. She gets the abundance as well. And in the 4 of Materials, it's raining. I've never noticed that before either. So she feels like she needs to hold her true self back, as if she's like, I can't have what I want. I can't be the Empress. I will never get what I want if I do that. And so you feel like you need to reciprocate. So your choices are kind of working against you here. Let's not have that one on top. Let's have the Empress on top there. Afraid of your choices here and the repercussions of your choices. What's behind us? Home and integration of what it will mean in your home life. So if you empower yourself and you're worried about, or what is your place then? Like, what's your role then? If you're not doing that stuff, if you don't let them have the power, what are they going to do? So this is an unsure, a feeling of, it's the unknown. It's the, well, if I step into that empowered Empress state, I don't even know what a relationship looks like that. And so the unknown, you're like, well, I don't think that even exists. I don't know what that would look like. I've never seen anyone in relationships like that. My parents certainly weren't like that. None of my friends have got relationships like that. What does it even mean? There's a whole lot of, I don't think I can choose that. It could be an, I don't think it's available to me kind of thing. What's in your blind spot? What's in Crystal's blind spot? Let's get more out. Look inside of yourself. Examine what is causing you to feel this way. This is family patterns, is what I'm hearing. See, there's a tree down here. There's family patterns going on there. It's very important to look inside of yourself now, to examine what's causing you to feel this way. Really dig deep on it. When did you first feel like this? Was this about your parents' relationship? Was it about your relationship with your father? Was it about your relationship with your mother? Like, when did you first feel this stuff? Look inside for the origins here. And a new beginning, new adventure awaits. Yeah, you see, instead of being scared of these choices, you could be like, well, yeah, I don't know what that experience is, but I know what my parents have had, and I know what I've had in the past, and I don't want that. And so why not, like, jump into the unknown here, empower myself, be the empress, and then see what's available to me then. A new beginning, being excited about it. A new adventure awaits. You could see it like that instead of a trepidation, like, oh God, what is it? Oh, what if it's worse? What if it's worse than what I've already experienced? Yes. What if it's worse than I've already experienced? That is holding you back from doing this. But what if it's much better? And it is, by the way. It's much better. But along the way, you're going to still have toads in your life, and it's going to be worse with them when you empower yourself. Absolutely. The people with the egos and stuff, they react when we empower ourselves. That's how you know to stay away from them. A new adventure awaits. Embrace it and live your dreams passionately. You have this opportunity for a new start, and it's exciting. And just because it's in the unknown doesn't make it a bad thing. In fact, it makes it a good thing, because everything that's in the unknown, it means that there's unlimited possibilities. Anything that's known, we've already got information on it, and we're more likely to repeat what's already been done rather than what's truly possible. So in other words, if we had parents, say, that had a good relationship, then we're less likely to create a great relationship. If we had parents that had a terrible relationship, we're much more likely eventually, once we've done all that inner work, to create a great relationship, because we've got the opportunity and the space from preconceived ideas of what it could be, and so we're more likely to create something much, much better. Tell us more about Crystal's blind spot. It's interesting that I chose the Moonstone. I knew I had to choose the Moonstone this time. Is it significant to you, the Moonstone? Because I decided I was going to use the Amazonite. My head decided, but when I went over to the table to get my shell and my crystal, the Moonstone was like, it's me, it's my turn. They don't have turns, but it wanted to come out this time, so it might be significant to you, this actual stone itself. The Moonstone, very feminine stone. Now you've got to be bold and make the first move. Yes, you need to empower yourself. It's time for you to take up space, for you to be in your power. Tell us more. What's in your blind spot? Tolerance. What have you been tolerating? You've been tolerating something because it's normal to you. It's usual. It's what you've experienced in your life. But you need to empower yourself as well. To evolve. Evolution. To evolve past that. Otherwise, you're going to keep on getting what you got. Tell us more. What's in Crystal's blind spot? About this relationship, or about your whole relationship life, really. I think it is here. The Runner. This card just keeps on coming out. The Runner. Fear of intimacy. Okay. So you've got a fear of intimacy here. Yes, there's a lot of fear in you here. There's a lot of fear in this reading. And so you run from like the healthy relationships, and you run from relating on an equal basis. Listening to ego, it says, and it is. It's listening to your fears. So your fears are kind of running or ruling you here. Go again. What's in? It might have been that card, but we'll see. What's in Crystal's blind spot? That's better. That's a definitive jump out. The royal you. Yeah, you need to become the empress and be okay with that. You see, placing that crown on your head and saying, "I deserve this." Standing in your power. I do feel like you're going to be very powerful once you empower yourself. But from this reading, you're not there yet, and you need to get yourself there. And so that's in your blind spot. Just how incredible you are, and just how worthy you are, and you deserve that. And it's safe for you to do that. Not safe with everybody, but it's safe with everyone once you've learned to empower yourself and once you stand up to people. Go to a Muay Thai class, learn it. You might love it as much as me. I do it every day. Well, apart from Sundays. Twice a day, 3 times a week. Because I love it. It's just the best thing ever. It's so much fun. But it's given me so much confidence. It empowers you. Or it doesn't have to be Muay Thai, but that's my favourite. So I'm always going to be a champion for it. But any kind of a martial art. It's a combat sport, but it's also a martial art too. It's kind of a crossover Muay Thai. What's in your blind spot? 3 cards came out then. 4. Body. Show me, divine, how to love and fully care for this body. Please give me the radiant miracle of accepting my body as it is. For some of you, you're placing great emphasis on your body, your value in your look, so your body, instead of who you are, like the royal you, your personality and all of that. You might have let society or people tell you that the most of your value is in your looks and things like that, which is not. It's part of it for sure, but not the majority by far. So that's for some of you there, body. You also have hardship out as well. And so some of you, this is really affecting your finances as well. Yeah, because this is kind of a hardship in relationships as well. This will be affecting your money as well. Baffling and painful. You also have despair here, so this could have sent you into depression, this not knowing the way out of this. Despair. I need your divine intercession right now, O Great Spirit. Lift this darkness from my soul. Free me from this burden. Open me to your highest plan. May I be a peaceful vessel for your love. We feel despair and that depression when we're stuck, when we don't see a way out, and we can't see how it can be any different, when there's repeating patterns and when we just don't get it, you know? We don't get how we're doing it, and so it feels hopeless. We feel helpless in that situation. Compassion. You know, you might just be too compassionate with other people and not compassionate enough with yourself here. So you could give other people a lot of leeway, a lot of space, a lot of chances, but not be giving yourself any chances, not doing that same for yourself. I do feel like your compassion could be really working against you guys. Okay, what's in your blind spot? What's in your blind spot? I want to get some of these out for some reason. What's in Crystal's blind spot? Success. You can have success. You can have success. I do feel like you've got this kind of a low energy, expecting very little from relationships, really, instead of expecting the very best for yourself. Grasshopper, situation in the balance that requires careful handling. And so some of you are or have been or continually keep on getting into relationships with people that aren't good for you. And for sure, when you start empowering yourself, like I said, with the right people, it's going to be great. But with the wrong people, oh, they ain't going to like it, and there's going to be backlash there. And so you do need to, it requires careful handling. One of the worst things you could do is like empower yourself and then keep on being around those wrong people. Then you're just going to be in the fight all the time. That isn't going to be good for you at all. Throne. Position of authority. So what's in your blind spot is you keep on subjugating yourself to people that want to take the power over you here, instead of being the empress, instead of being the royal you, instead of realizing just how much you deserve and going for that, and if afraid of empowering yourself. That's what it's all about here. So if that sounds like it is your story or could be your story, crystals, then you might want to get that deeper dive. And I'm going to go into guidance for you in all of this. If you're interested in that, I'll put a link for it up there, and there's a link in the description box and in the comments below as well. Just 20 Australian dollars, which is about 15 American dollars. You do need to get your email address right, otherwise you're not going to receive it. The email might end up in your inbox, but it might end up in your spam, your junk, or your promotions folder. If you're on Gmail, promotions folder. And once you find that email, there'll be a link to the crystal, to the flower, and the shell. You just click on that crystal and you will download a PDF from there. And in that PDF, there's a bit of information about the reading, the extended reading, the deeper dive, and there's a free gift in there. And then there's a picture of a video. You click on that and you'll come watch that video. And so there you go. Thank you so much. If this is where you're leaving me, don't forget to click on this video, click like on it, click that subscribe button, leave a comment, all of that stuff. It really helps me out. And yeah, if this is where you're leaving me, then good luck with all of this. And if you're coming with me to the deeper dive, then I'll see you in there very shortly. Bye. So if you chose this flower, then this one's for you. Let's find out what's in your blind spot about your person or about your love life in general. What is it that you're not seeing clearly, maybe? And so as usual, there's going to be a deeper dive to this flowers. And so if this sounds like it is your story, it could be your story, you might want to get that, because I'm going to go into guidance for you in the situation you find yourself in right now. Guidance for you in this relationship, if that is applies to this reading. And what you need to know about them, what you need to know about yourself, possible dynamics, how to make it work really well. And also how this might all go down as well. How things might change and possible timelines on all of that. So if you're interested in that, toward the end of the reading will be a link that pops up there. Find a link for that in the description box and in the comments as well. We've got a storm going on at the moment, so a bit of lightning. I'm going to have to calm the cat down because she doesn't like it with the thunder. We'll see how we go. Hopefully there won't be a power cut and interrupt this video, because I'll lose it all and I'll have to start again. It's not good. So you have the beauty of age out first. What is in your blind spot? There's something about timelines here, about what you expect at certain age ranges for yourself. There could be an element here of, I should have found someone already, I should be able to do this already. You could be judging yourself based on your age group and what you think are the expectations for different age groups. It could be that. Lightning. It's okay, chicken. She's not happy. She doesn't like it. Patience. Oh, patience. Okay, what's in your blind spot is that you're continually being asked to wait for something, and it's like, well, I should have been able to get it by my age, is what it is. And so your blind spot here is feeling like it's you think that you should have been able to get what you want already, and you're not seeing that maybe divine time, or maybe there's something much better ahead for you, and that's why you're having to wait for it. So you could have keep on getting you could have been getting signs and synchronicities and guidance and all of that, patience all the time, and you're like, what, am I going to get to like the end of my deathbed and still be pulling the patience cards out and go, damn it, you fooled me, why did I trust you? It's never coming, is it? Let's find out more about this. So it's something in your blind spot here. About timing. Yeah, about timing in your life and why you've had to wait for it. That's what's in your blind spot. So if that sounds like it's you, keep on watching, because we've got the 10 of Cups here. You will get your ultimate satisfaction, your happily ever after. Your heart will be fulfilled here. But you've got to manifest it. The Magician. You're yet to manifest it. The High Priestess, following your intuition. Your intuition's good, right? So how come you haven't found it yet? Something about your intuition. And the Queen of Wands, taking action, knowing what you want and taking action and going for it and claiming it. Right, okay. Let's get clarifiers out for these. Tell us what's in Flower's blind spot here. Why have we got the Ten of Cups here? That came out too soon. Why? Why the Ten of Cups? The Seven of Materials. You've planted the seeds, you have. You've planted those seeds. You're tending to the environment to manifest it. The Star, you've got the wishes there, so you've been building up that dream kind of thing. You've been wishing for it, you've been hoping for it. The success that you want. So it feels to me like you've been putting in that law of attraction work, planting those seeds, you know, responding to your guidance. It's like, hey universe, hey higher self, I'm putting in that work. Come on, deliver the goods. Deliver the goods. You're doing the right things. You're doing the right things here. So how come you haven't got your rewards yet? Let's find out. Now, if we're talking about a relationship in particular, which I really don't feel like we are in this one, and we weren't in the crystal reading either, I feel like it's more like a relationship pattern thing, this. But if we are talking about a relationship, then this could be you in a relationship trying to get you happily ever after with them, and them not committing, or them not, yeah. For some of you, it's that. For some of you, this is just a relationship pattern. You're just kind of waiting. Now, discernment is behind that. That's interesting because those first two cards that popped out that were maybe qualifying, maybe coming out with this Ten of Cups, clarifying the Ten of Cups. It was about choosing. It's about being blind to your choices, kind of thing, choosing wrong. And discernment is behind that, and so it's what you've been choosing. So, okay, been planting those seeds, you've been hoping and wishing for it, but how come it's not coming true? It's what you've been choosing. There's your blind spot. You're unaware of how you've been choosing the wrong people. That's your blind spot. So, manifesting it. Yeah, the Magician, I'm getting that. You're doing the right things. You're doing all the right things. You're doing the law of attraction things. You're envisioning it. You're being positive about it. You're imagining it. You might be making dream boards about it. You might be writing down that positive story. You're doing all of those things. You're just not choosing the right ones. The Magician. Why the Magician? Slow. There's that timing thing. This is a slow path to it. It's a slow, you've got a slow path to it. Why would you have a slow path to it? Why have I got a slow path to what I want? Because those that experience the most challenges and the biggest challenge along the way, they have the greatest outcome from it. Why can someone get into a great relationship like straight out of school? Why do some of us have to wait for it until our old age? Not that I consider myself old at 50, but why? Well, because if we've manifested those challenges, well, first of all, my guides have said you might think that what they've got is great, but it's not actually that great in the first place. But if we've experienced the greatest challenges, it's because we are here to take things to a whole new level, to experience something really great. So there is that. So the slow path is, you know, the Knight of Materials, they get there in the end. They manifest it in the end. And it's not, they're not manifesting something that's like just on par like everyone else's stuff that have got it easily. When you've got the greatest challenges, you really manifest something incredible. Oh, it's shaking the windows. Chicken, it's okay. It's okay, honey. She's scared. What's behind this? The Magician and the Knight of Materials. So this isn't about you having to try harder with the manifestation stuff. That stuff that you're doing is right. It's definitely about what you're choosing here. Tell us what's behind this, Magician. Something needs to change. There needs to be a change in your approach here. Yes. So your intuition, right? I get this. Why the High Priestess here? I know why the High Priestess is out here, but let's get a card just for entertainment purposes. Your intuition. Right. Remember, this is about the choices that you've been making. Your intuition. The 9 of emotions, your wishes coming true. And the 3 of materials there, your collaborations. Here it is. The High Priestess and intuition. It's the feelings we get, right? Is it? No, it's not. It's not the feelings we get. Feelings that we get are different. Feelings that we get tend to be based on familiarity. And so, this is why we choose lovers that are like our parents. We choose relationships that are like our parents because it feels like home. We choose the same things over and over again based on our feelings. We think we're following our heart. We think we're following our intuition, but we're not. We're actually following our feelings, which our feelings are just reinforcing the known. It's our safety zone, right? Now, you're here to create something new. Chicken, you're going to go and hide somewhere. Yeah, she's hiding under the bed. Okay, darling. It's okay. Hide. That's my advice to Chicken. Hide. Go into the bed, honey, or in a box or something in the corner there. High Priestess. Yeah, so... Sorry. Distracted by the cat and the thunder. Yeah. Be careful of your feelings. Really, be careful of your feelings. I'm like, totally go with your heart and your feelings and tell yourself that it's intuition. If you've had a great background and all of that and you've been making good choices, make another good choice because your feelings will be aligned with that. But for the majority of us, we've not had a good experiences in the past, and so do not trust your feelings. It's one of the biggest lessons I've ever had. Don't trust my feelings. That is not intuition. Oh God, you're kidding me. Totally thought it was intuition. You can have your wishes come true. But you have to stop going off that. You have to stop collaborating with people that you're choosing with your feelings. And calling it intuition. It's not intuition. Yeah, there's not much else I can say about that. It's about your choices. Grounding is behind that. You've got to ground yourself first. So for some of you, your blind spot is your intuition isn't what you think it is. You're believing that your intuition is your feelings, and it gets you into trouble every time. You know, I got to the point of realizing this for myself personally, and I thought, damn, my feelings are off. Because put me in a room, I realized this, put me in a room of 100 people, I will be attracted to the most abusive person in there because they're the ones that feel familiar to me. And I had to really be wary of myself and my feelings. And oh God, you must be the worst person in the whole town. I'm attracted to you. And I had to just stop myself from going there until I broke this pattern. I had to do a pattern interrupt, not take action on it. I had to start choosing with my mind more, and then I could really tune into my intuition and see things about them when I was being more realistic about them and not following my feelings. Then I could really pick up on signs and really be intuitive. But when you're letting your it's not your heart lead the way, it's when you're letting your feelings lead the way, totally blind to those things. Queen of Wands, tell us why the Queen of Wands here. So the Queen of Wands, she knows what she wants and then she actively chooses it. She goes out and gets it. Some of you might just be a little bit too spiritual and you're blind in that. It's your blind spot. Stuck in this feelings loop and you're not realizing it's feelings. You think it's intuition and it's not. How's it working for you? Ask yourself that question. Why is the Queen of Wands out here? Whereas the Queen of Wands, she's more like, she knows what she wants and she'll go out there and choose it. She'll actively choose it. It's like, you're this, you're that. Give me evidence of that and then I'll choose you. What's behind this? Ace of Emotions. Then she'll feel really good because she's choosing it. Now, and I'm not talking because I felt your energy then. Some of you all went to the, but I don't just want someone that's good on paper. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about someone that's going to leave you feeling like lifeless and no passion and all of that. I'm not saying like your feelings are none of it, but I'm saying you've got to stop prioritizing your feelings here. Once you choose someone who, say, don't let me tell you what it is that you want here, but this is what I imagine: someone that's healthy, someone that's taking care of themselves, that's showing that they're doing the self-love thing, someone that's like succeeding in the business, not for the sake, not for ego's sake or whatever, but because someone that's got the shit together, they're going to do that. Someone that's worked on themselves, someone that's got an emotional stability and emotional intelligence, not going off at things. They can laugh at things if they've been pointed out that they've done something wrong. So someone with that emotional stability that shows that they've done the work. It's not just someone looking good on paper, but it is me actually noticing what they're actually doing and who they actually are being. Not the potential, not the feelings that I have about them, potential. And all those things, and I've got a long list of stuff. When they are being all of that, and I have an attraction to them, a physical attraction to them, and there's that chemistry there. It's important, it's not everything. Then I choose them. Hey, you're mine, and feel incredible about it. What's behind us? Retreat. And you need to stop whatever it is that you've been doing, the pattern that you've been doing, the approach that you've been taking. Just stop yourself. I had to do it. I had to be single for a while, just like, oh shit, I'm like red flags all over the place by doing this over and over again. And retreat from that and go, I don't trust myself to choose until I've figured this out. And it feels weird at first to kind of get away from that romantic notion of feelings and just like love at first sight. That is not healthy. It feels weird at first to back out from that and use your head, but then once you've chosen someone, then you can have it all. Really. That's what's in your blind spot, is that you've been choosing from feelings, thinking it's intuition, and prioritizing that. There is something wrong with that. There's something wrong with prioritizing that, if that being the first port of call. It shouldn't be the first port of call. Your mind should be first. So what's in Flower's blind spot? When it comes to matters of the heart, there's no right or wrong. Every choice you make expands your understanding of life and love. And so ultimately, it's the self-love journey that we're on. When we're getting in and out of relationships, really, we're learning to love ourselves. Really, we're learning to get to know ourselves and what it is that we want in relationship and all of that. It's important right now to take a step back and spend some time alone. Instead of placing your focus on another, now's the time to give to yourself. So you do need to back off from pursuing relationships right now until you figure this out, and especially be wary of your feelings. You could get what it is that you want so much faster. I know, because I was the flower. Adjustments are required. There needs to be a change in your approach. Believe in the impossible. You can have it all of it. But you need to choose someone that's showing you all of the other things first. And there's very few people that will have it all like that. Very few. That's going to be okay as well. Very few and far between the people that are. But then when you don't see any red flags and you're like, yep, and I'm attracted to them, and I've got feelings for them, this one. And those feelings could develop over a long time as well. I was wary. I was wary when they first came in. I'm like, you're a player. I'm attracted to you. There's got to be something wrong with you. And then, yeah, fully wary of him. And luckily, over the years, he's proved himself to me. And now, just incredible. Like the stuff that he's showing me. I'm still not in a relationship, but I will go there. Well, we are in a relationship, but not the romantic kind yet. Well, it is romantic, but it's just we're not together yet. Together. Unity. like this, unity. You understand that the love shared with another is amplified and has a ripple effect across the universe. So yeah, put you, flowers in a relationship, and whatever you've got going on is going to be amplified. You need to know that. When you come together with someone, any imbalances that you got, they're going to be amplified, right? You need to understand that. So what it's saying is there's nothing wrong with you. There's something wrong with your belief system about intuition and your feelings that keeps on getting you into the same traps over and over again. And then when you get into that trap, everything is blown up and it's appearing worse than it is. And that could have you in a victimhood kind of a spiral. Why does this keep on happening to me? You know, because you're not seeing how it is that you're choosing it. Because you're trusting your feelings and your intuition. It's not really intuition. Tell us more. What's in Flower's blind spot? Patience. So this is why you're having to wait for it. Waiting for yourself. Palm tree. Stability, security, permanence, growth, endurance, and flexibility. Yes, and it's the slow approach that you need to take to actually manifest it. You do. You need to get to know them for over a long time to make sure that they're ticking all those boxes. Old school. Dating. Or just getting to know them in real life, you know. Stability, security, permanence, growth, endurance, and flexibility. And you know if they're sticking around for 3 years, they're really interested in you. If they wait 3 years, or longer, or yeah. And you know that you're truly interested as well if you will wait for it too. So much around timing here. So maybe you've just not been patient enough in the beginning stages, wanting to rush in. And it's when we feel insecure that we want to rush in, by the way. So shining through. When someone's heart and soul and who they really are and what they've learned about themselves and who they're currently being and them actually doing it in their lives, they're really going to shine through and show you and prove it to you. You don't need to have the love at first sight thing. The love at first sight thing is not healthy at all. It's not healthy at all. You don't have love at first sight. No one's proven themselves to you by then. That is, you will fall foul of that all the time. Going off that feelings thing. What else is in the blind spot? Creative blocks. If you're an artist of any kind, you can offer all work to the divine, making it God's alone. I offer this for the highest good. Release me from any blocks and restrictions. I'm not feeling that card for you. This is the one that had flipped over there. Contentment. You can learn to rest in what you already have and already are. Suddenly you remember it's right here, resting in God. Some of you have got your person around you and you don't know it. The one that will truly make you content. They've been there for a long time. No, it's not the person that you don't have any feelings for. You don't need to give that up on that part. I feel like you don't have any feeling or you haven't recognized the feelings for them yet. It could be like I just dismissed them. It's like, no, how are you coming across as player energy? I don't want that. You could have rejected them in your mind, but you did have feelings for them. Because they haven't shown you yet. They haven't shown you that they can content you. Content you? Is it a verb now? You can learn to rest in what you already have and already are. Suddenly you remember I'm right here resting in God. Some of you got your person around you already. Let's find out more. What's in Flower's blind spot? Compliments from an admirer. Someone already loves you. So there's someone already around you, I'm telling you. I'm getting it with that. They will shine through eventually, but it's a matter of time, and it's more about you being open to stopping what you're doing, changing your approach completely, and then recognizing them. They'll reveal themselves to you. They'll come shining through. Psychic ability, trust your intuition. After all that I've said, the cards. High Priestess, your intuition isn't what you think it is. It isn't what you think it is. It's not your feelings. But when you make these changes, you'll be able to tap into your true intuition, not the false one. What's in Flowers blind spot. Kangaroo. Unsettled times, needing to plan ahead. You need to plan. You need to plan. Yeah, unsettled times, you need to plan. So you need to have a plan of action now. Okay, well, I know myself, so I'm not going to go off the feelings. I'm going to take a look at who's around me and see who's proving themselves to me and just be open to that and watch and notice. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to be really healthy in my life, looking after myself, taking that step back and believing in the impossible. Yes, that I can have it all, and you can have it all, and just noticing and taking good care of myself while I am. And then when someone keeps on showing me that they are being this, and especially if I've got feelings for them, paying more attention to that person and still giving it time. There's a need to plan ahead. You need to have a plan of action here. It's not going to be instant. It's not going to be Tinder, dating app, instant, hook up with each other and then it turn into something. That is not the way to get into a healthy relationship. So it's all about timing with you, and there's a very important thing about you misunderstanding your intuition and your feelings. So there you go. If that sounds like it is your story, it could be your story, Flowers, then you might want to get that deeper dive for the guidance for all of this. So I'll pop a link for it up there. There's a link in the description box and in the comments as well. You need to get your email address right, otherwise you're not going to receive it. And it might end up in your inbox, but it might also end up in your spam, your junk, or your promotions folder if you're on Gmail. And in that email, you will see a link to the crystal, the flower, and the shell. You click on that flower and you'll download a PDF from that where it takes you. In that PDF, you need to do it on a device that can open PDFs, right? In that PDF, there will be some information about the reading. There will be a special free gift for you in there as well. And you'll see a picture of me doing a video. Click on that and you can watch that video straight away. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to click like on this video. Leave a comment. Click that subscribe button as well. Do all of that stuff. Let me know if this is resonating with you. And if this is where you're leaving me, good luck with this. But if you're coming with me to the deep dive, then thank you for that. And I'll see you very shortly in that reading. Bye. So if you chose the shell and this one's for you, let's find out shells. Or something just fell out of you then. Got dirt inside shells. So let's find out what's in your blind spot, shells. So as usual, there's going to be a deeper dive to this. That is an extended reading that goes with this. And so if you find that this is your story or could be your story, then you might want to get that. In that, I'm going to go into guidance for you in the situation you find yourself in right now. There's something to heal, something to change in this situation. Well, there's a blind spot, so let's get you out of that blind spot, right? And also guidance for you in this relationship as well, for those of you in a relationship, or just more guidance for you in your relationship patterns. This might be about a relationship itself, but it probably is going to be about relationship patterns in general. And so, yeah, guidance for that. And also how this might all play out for you as well, and possible timelines for that. So if you're interested in that, toward the end of this reading, there'll be a link that pops up there. You can find a link for that in the description box and in the comments below. So let's get some cards out for you and find out what's in your blind spot. What aren't you seeing about this relationship, or what aren't you seeing about your relationship path altogether? Could be that you're doing something over and over again and you have no clue because it's just like so normal to you, and maybe people around you doing the same thing as well, and no frame of reference that it's actually weird. It might not be weird, I don't know. I'm just talking while the cards aren't coming out. What's in your blind spot? I don't want to tell you. I'm keeping it secret. What's in Shell's blind spot, please? There we go. Okay, we've got the ball rolling now. Let's see what it is. What is in Shell's blind spot? Rituals and offerings. Huh. What are you willing to put into a relationship here? What are you offering in a relationship here? Because I'm kind of getting sacrifice from this. It might be that you're willing to sacrifice something that you shouldn't be willing to sacrifice. Let's get some more cards out while I pick up on these energies. Tell us more about Shell's blind spot. Illumination. Things coming to light. What are you willing to sacrifice? I feel like you could be like too eager to compromise here. So something comes to light and then you say, oh, it's okay. When really it's not. It's not okay. It's not okay in a relationship. Let me get some cards out and see, because I'm not 100% on this energy yet. But I was getting sacrifice, so you might be willing to sacrifice something that you just shouldn't have sacrificed. And I think maybe the universe is saying, hey, don't sacrifice that. That's really important to you. The devil. Fears and negativities. You might be putting up with stuff that you just shouldn't be. Hey, you might think that you need to. That everyone's got that stuff. I haven't had a sober relationship yet. That's my next relationship, a sober relationship. Because I haven't been sober until now. Last 6 months I've been sober. It could be about that for you as well. There could be an addiction here that is causing you to put up with it. Like with alcohol, I was putting up with stuff that I shouldn't have been putting up with because it's just so universally accepted, isn't it, for everyone to have this addiction? It's messed up. Could be that with you as well, the hermit. Hiding away then. Needing to retreat. Let's see. And maybe that's you retreating and putting up with things as well. Your work paying off here. So there's a feeling like your work will pay off. I feel like maybe you could be bearing the brunt in relationships of the work and stuff like that, and you think it's going to pay off at some point. You're too willing to sacrifice yourself, maybe for the greater good or for the family or for the relationship, but it's actually undermining the relationship, because if you are too willing to do too much in the relationship, that's not a good thing for the relationship. It's not going to suddenly turn around at some point. It's just going to stay like that and get even more reinforced like that, out of balance. Let's find out here. The devil. Tell us why we've got the devil here. And there could be addictions behind that as well. Addictions, what do? We feel something that we don't want to feel, and so we numb out to it with an addiction, whatever that addiction is, whether it's drugs or alcohol or sugar, food, or being around people and being busy all the time. We use those things to numb out to it so we don't want to feel it, instead of being present. So when there's addictions in place, no matter what they are, no matter how accepted they are seemingly in society, whenever we've got them in place, we're not fully present, we're not feeling. And if you're not fully present in a relationship, well, that's not good. That's not good. The devil. Tell us why the devil's here. And so addictions could be clouding your perception. Addictions could be helping you to keep this blind spot a blind spot. Let's put it that way. And so you could be in the position where you're overdoing things in a relationship. You're way too willing to sacrifice yourself, do things that you don't want to do, or do the majority of the work in a relationship. Let's put it that way. But as long as you have your wine at the end of the day, that numbs you to it, the actual feelings that it's causing you. And then you never do it. You never change it. And so it's Groundhog Day again. You do too much. You feel that, you numb out to it. And then you do it all over again. The 10 of emotions behind that. You see, addictions are never the problem. Addictions are what we do in order to avoid facing the problem. The problem is that you're not being fully fulfilled here. And you're doing something and it's in your blind spot because there's an addiction that keeps on coming back around and coming back around. You feel it and then you don't feel it anymore. And then you feel it and you don't feel it anymore. It's like that. It's the story of addictions. It's well, I'll hit my finger with a hammer and then I'll put ice on it. And then I'll hit my finger with the hammer and I'll put ice on it. And then I'll hit my finger with the hammer and put ice on it. It's like, stop it. You're putting ice on it is distracting you from the pain. It's trying to tell you, stop hitting your finger with a hammer. Bad example, but so you're getting into situations that are imbalanced, into relationships that are imbalanced. Addiction isn't helping you. You're probably choosing someone that's addicted as well. because that seems normal to you. And then going round and round circles like that. So you're not being fulfilled here. And it's not about the addiction. You know, a lot of people make it about the addiction. Oh, you know, the relationship went wrong because they had an addiction, because they were an alcoholic or whatever. Never. It's never the problem. There's a struggle behind this. So the struggle is fueling an addiction to numb out because you don't want to face this blind spot. So the Hermit, tell us, what is this Hermit? Why is the Hermit here? What's this blind spot for shells? What's a storm going on at the moment, by the way? Chicken cat, she's not happy with it at all. Okay, so you're choosing the options that you've got, the 7 of emotions, looking closely at it, the details of it. I'm seeing you here choosing the same thing over again. You're not seeing it. See how she's got a lot of fish here and there's like one with a shark fin on it here. Why would you choose the one with the shark fin on it? Well, because it seems normal. Doesn't everyone wear a shark fin? You see, here she's looking very closely at the detail. She's got like people partying around her there. I think you're choosing what seems familiar to you. It's like, check, yeah, they got addiction, they drink alcohol or whatever. Check. Like it's a good thing because it's familiar to you. You're like, yeah, I know that. And I will choose that. And then there's this willingness to do too much, sacrificing yourself, or it could just be about having an addiction, in fact, and getting into, there is something behind it though. I think that you think that you're choosing fun in relationships. And then you're ending up putting too much effort into them and ending up alone like this, like the Hermit, and then like, how did I get myself here again? I think you're choosing what appears on the surface to be fun, but it's actually someone that is avoiding fulfilling themselves, the 10 of emotions, and because you're a mirror to that, because you're doing the same thing there and not realizing it. But you think you're choosing fun. You think you're choosing what you want. So balance, this isn't unbalanced. Unbalanced within you here. You're not seeing that you're imbalanced here because you're not allowing yourself to feel it, to sit with it. Now, there is a time and a place for addictions, and that is when things are so hard that it would be actually unself-loving not to numb yourself out a little bit to it. So think of the times when you've been so stressed out. Yes, a drink and things helps them because it takes the edge off it, right? And so sometimes it's medication, and there's a place for that. We don't expect anyone to have surgery without an anesthetic, right? And so when you're facing really hard things, really difficult times, yes, there is a time and a place for that. And I think it would be unself-loving of us to say, you can never have, you have to feel everything no matter how bad it is. That would be really unself-loving. So we're not asking you to do that. But there's a movement into balance that needs to be had here. Maybe you need to lay off and feel a little bit more. It feels to me like an addiction is hiding your blind spot. It's helping to hide your blind spot. And with the addiction in place there, without you being present to fully feel what's going on, you're never going to get to your blind spot. 8 of Pentacles, what's this 8 of Pentacles about? 8 of Pentacles, you put the hard work in, you think it's going to turn around, do you? Page of Inspiration. Okay, so the Page of Inspiration, sorry, I had to tune into it then. Yours is a difficult reading because not only is an addiction, like whatever it is, there's all kinds of addictions, it can be watching TV, it can be whatever it is that you use to numb out. It's equally as hard for me to read you as it is for you to read yourself when with that in place. And I'm not saying that I have a problem doing readings when, because the majority of the planet I've got an addiction in place, right? So, but just in this, it's kind of clouding my vision a little bit, and I think it's a reflection of what's going on inside of you to clouding your vision. Anyway, the page of inspiration is the page of one, so it's like exciting. Something is exciting you here. And so you take it on and then you put the work into it, and then it doesn't transform from what it was. So this is like someone who's choosing a player because that's exciting, and they drink and they have a good time. And I drink and I have a good time, and I'm a good time person, and I'm fun. And they look fun, and I choose them, and then I try and settle down with them. And I put all of this work in, and it's going to come good. They're going to change. They're going to change to be what I want to change to be as well. And then it never happens. It's not going to happen, is it? It's going to be rare if you choose someone that is actually choosing the same thing as you in that case. Go out and meet someone who's drinking, say, and then we'll get together, and then we'll go home, we'll stop drinking, or we'll actually have a healthy relationship together. No, that's not going to happen, is it? The chances of finding someone that wants that same transformation is very slim. You're more likely to find someone that wants to just stay in that energy. So there's something about you choosing choosing something that seems light and fun, like you are, but what you're actually choosing is the addiction. Both you in an addiction and them in an addiction, and all of that clouds the real issues at hand. Any kind of healing, not any kind of healing. I did a lot of my healing while I was drinking, but I wasn't able to have a healthy relationship while I was drinking. Even only drinking not a massive amount once a week, still not able to, or once every 2 weeks, still not able to have a healthy relationship in that, because there's still an element of that one time that I do drink is when I want to run away from my feelings, and you can't do that. You've got to be present with each other for a healthy relationship. You've got to feel it all. So if there's any kind of dysfunction that shows up, if you start drinking instead of facing it, you're never going to repair it. You're never going to sort it out. You're never going to ask them that question or face that thing. It's that kind of an energy here. So the Eight of Pentacles, you're putting a lot of work in, like psychic developments behind that. So you're putting you're making it hard on yourself, putting a lot of work into relationships, and it shouldn't be that hard work. But you've got this big thing standing in the way there of, it's just a temporary absence thing from yourself and from the relationship. It's like your blind spot is all kinds of things, but there's a pattern that has you constantly staying blind to your blind spots. Let's put it that way. This is levels deeper kind of a reading here. Tell us more about Char's blind spot. In other words, this is saying that you can only really start the work on your blind spots once you stop that addiction in yourself, and stop choosing people thinking that they're fun because they've got that addiction. Right? It's not fun. Oh, no, it's not fun. And sometimes I'm shocked. Because sometimes I think, oh, I'd like to go out and socialise, and I'm a social person, I like people. But then when there's the drinking involved, like it happened last weekend, I was thinking, I might quite like to go out and be social. I'll ask the couple, they're always going out, like every night. The couple that live here, I'll go and ask them. Like, I wonder what they're doing tonight. Are they going somewhere? I'll go and be social. By the time I got home from training, from doing my healthy thing, they were already in the pool, drunk, loud, obnoxious, repeating everything. Before I didn't even go over there, I just heard it and thought, oh, I remember what it's like going out. I don't want to go out. I don't want to be around. I don't want to be around intoxicated people like that, because it isn't fun. It's maybe interesting when people have had like the first no drinks to 2 drinks, and then it's not fun anymore. They'd already started, so no. And it might shock you too, is when you break free of an addiction, it's kind of, You're like, oh God, I thought that was fun. And then you look at it from the outside, it's like, that's not fun at all. You got trust here. What's in your blind spot? Trust. Oh. Transformation occurs through acceptance. Oh, right. Okay. So your blind spot is, so you've got an addiction, right? And it's not the real problem. But the real problem in relationships here is that you choose someone that's got an addiction because they will accept you, something that you don't really accept in yourself, the addiction. So you only think that anyone with the same addiction or an equal addiction, addicted to something, they're the only ones that will actually love and accept you. So this is, you're not accepting yourself in that addiction. Does that make sense? So transformation occurs through acceptance. Once you accept the current situation, it will automatically transform. No, it won't. Once you accept the current situation, it won't automatically transform at all. Once you accept the current situation and where you are, that's when you've got the power to actually change it. Once you accept where you actually are. So for some of you, this is like an AA meeting. This is like, you have to accept that you've got the problem first before you can even accept. We're talking about love reading here. So before you'll even accept that you're actually choosing someone with similar, because you think that only they will love you, someone as flawed as you with an addiction, even though the majority of people are, Oh, so you guys, it's complicated. This is complicated, and it's made more complicated, of course, by the addiction. So you're choosing people, not just because they seem fun, but because they will accept you and love you because they've got a similar addiction. Addicts with addicts. Passion. A magnetic and seductive quality surrounds you at present. Enjoy it. Magnetic and seductive quality surrounds you at present. So you're very much attracted to it. It's seductive to you, that energy. Now, addictions have a certain energy. So, say sugar. Those that are sugar addicted, they will, any kind of an addict will try, and that particular addiction has a voice itself. It takes over you. Like that devil kind of an energy, it takes over you. So someone that's addicted to sugar, that will take over them. They do anything for the sugary thing. They will try and push it on other people as well. Here, have some more of this. Eat some of this cake, whatever. That's not them. They don't care whether you eat cake or not, really. It's the addiction that's fueled. Same with people with alcohol addictions. They'll try and get you to have a drink. They don't care whether you have a drink or not. They're not interested in what is going down your throat. The addiction, it's the addiction that speaks through them. They want you to be in that energy that they're in as well. They want a partner in there. It's because of this. It's this non-acceptance of themselves. So you must do it too, otherwise they feel they're going to start judging themselves for doing it. And yeah, so the actual addiction has a voice. Like I said, who would care? I don't care what you drink, what you don't drink. Why would I care? But someone with an addiction does. They do seem to care. But it's the thing, it's the entity that is that addiction that is bothered here. So it's a very seductive quality, and you're not realizing, your blind spot is that you are attracted, seduced by the energy that is that addiction. Now, for some of you, it might not be sugar. It might be something more hardcore than that. I mean, wow, yeah, like pot. And I know you're all saying, all you pot smokers, you're like, no, it's not hardcore. Pot's not a bad thing. It's much better for you than alcohol. No, addicts, pot smokers. I see depression. I see people that are opting out of life. I see that they're not in life. It's not better. It's the same. And so, yeah, there could be something hardcore going on here. For some of you, it's just a socially accepted addiction like alcohol, which is so destructive. But it's only, like I said, it's only destructive because it has us numbing from and just not facing anything. We're not functional. We can pretend that we're functional alcoholics, but we're not. We're not really functioning in life if we're not present. Because we can't respond to things. We can't respond to our feelings, which is our guidance, if we're drinking. If we're on drugs, if we are doing that thing. Because the very thing that we're doing is to numb from those feelings. It's to relax and forget about it. It's to feel happier, or to take our state to another state so we're not feeling our true feelings. What does that mean? It means we miss our guidance whenever we numb out to something, even if it's being a Pollyanna and trying to ignore negative feelings. That's a kind of addiction too. Then we miss out on the guidance. How funny that this card came out as I was saying that. It's time to release negativity. For some, it's like an addiction to being positive. Seriously. It's a new addiction now. It's time to release negativity. For some, it could be that, because I was saying it at the time that this card came out. But I think for the majority, this card, it's saying there's something that you're doing that you think is good for you and it's stinging you. There's a sting in the back of it. There's a negative consequence to what it is that you're doing. Maybe this is about the addiction, after all. Wow, there's so many negatives about alcohol. Me. So many. Had me making bad decisions for myself, but like the consequences afterwards as well, especially about relationships. I would use alcohol to get over that nervousness of getting into a relationship, and so I'd get into relationships with people when I was out drunk. So I'm not choosing the right people when I'm out drunk. Or if I was in like a healthy situation, meeting someone, and they asked me out on a date, I would make damn sure that was a date that had alcohol involved, so that it got over my anxiety. But again, it had me rushing in the alcohol, lost the inhibitions, and jumped into a relationship instead of being present and noticing the things. It made me override myself. There's so many negatives about it. Health, of course, and hangovers and all of that, but just not being able to be present in my life was the biggest part. And for sure, messed up relationships completely. In the first part, in the choosing and getting into them, it was always alcohol fuel for me. There was always, not fuel, alcohol involved. So if you're using like liquid courage like that, or something else to have courage to get into a relationship, why are you numbing to the feelings? Why not take your emotional guidance system with you when you're choosing a partner? So you've got release here. Like I said, this is like an AA meeting, really. It's like the first stage. I don't know, I've never been in one of those programs, but there's that stage, I believe, where you have to face up to it and admit that you've got a problem here. It's like that, so you can release it. That's what this transformation occurs through acceptance. Once you accept the current situation, it will automatically transform. No, it won't automatically transform. This card is wrong. I need to cross that out. Then once you accept the current situation, then you can change it from there, but you need to accept where you're at first. Of course, you don't just, it's not a one-step program, right? You don't just say, oh, I accept the situation. Oh, it's magically transformed. No. You know that spiritual bypassing bullshit that's on that card? And I hate when there's that things on the cards that I use. I mean, I love all these cards and they're great, but there's a lot of spiritual bullshit on them. It's just not true, right? Of course, things don't spontaneously change. Release. But you do have the ability to give over unwanted energies to the loving forces of the universe. You do. You have the ability to give something up here. You do. It's not stronger than you. It's not. So you've got cooperation here. In the quest to manifest the energy of love, you realize that every person and experience has value. Cooperation. This is enabling. This is two people enabling each other. So you are looking closely at relationships and then choosing someone that will enable you and you'll enable them to keep in this cycle of addiction. It's that choosing someone that's got the same addiction or a similar addiction to feel loved kind of thing. You're both cooperating in the enabling. I'm going to make this thing that is not normal that I'm doing normal by choosing someone that's also got it on so I feel normal. And then I don't have to face it. So your blind spot is your blind spot in a way. Of course there's something deeper than this, but you can't get to what's deeper than this until you face this stuff. Which is a good sign, you know, because I had to do a lot of healing before I got to this point. And so I'm guessing that a lot of you are ready for this start. I think so. Coffee cup. It could be coffee. Is it coffee? I still drink coffee. Am I addicted? Well, kind of. I get a headache if I don't have it. Although I did have one day of not having it recently and I didn't get a headache. So. Meeting and conversing, savouring the moment, feeling uplifted, friendship. Yeah, feeling a connection. I don't think it's coffee. Is it? Do we use coffee not to feel? Well, I don't use coffee because I feel tired in the morning. I wake up naturally. Make sure I get enough sleep. Yeah, I guess coffee could be an addiction, so you could be using it to numb out feelings of tiredness at least. But that is more about this, feeling uplifted and friendship, a kinship, someone who's on the same page as you and not realizing you're choosing someone with the same problem as you. Tell us more. What's in Shell's blind spot? Sober relationships, huh? Opening to discovery. So it's time for you to see something now. To be open to discover that. Addictions are tricky because it's got a voice, like I said. It's not even just the ego. Like we always have a voice of fears and whatever. We want to cling to the old, and that's our ego, right? But addictions are even stronger than that because it's not just your ego involved in it now, it's the substance itself involved in it, and it has a voice. Especially if it's something you're putting into your gut. And because it affects our whole nervous system, we don't just think with our brain, we think with our whole body, especially the gut. Neurons in there, you know. Opening to discovery. So you just need to be open to uncover this, is what I'm getting. You do have other stuff going on below this, but we can't even get to that because it's the addiction that's up front and center right now. And I'm not saying that, like I said, I'm not saying that you can't heal stuff when you have got those addictions in place. You obviously can, because I did, but I couldn't go all of the way with that. Close encounters. So I feel like some of you are closer to the relationship that you truly want. Because you can do a lot of healing with an addiction, but like I said, I don't think you can get in a healthy relationship with an addiction in place. So you could be closer to the actual relationship that you truly want than you think. Tell us more. Not that yet, not yet. This. Tell us more. What's in Shell's blind spot? I thought I'd be talking about addictions in a love reading. Self-acceptance. This is what is behind it, right? Because when we've got something like that, we judge ourselves. Really, you're judging yourself about it. You're pretending that you accept it, but you don't. And so you choose someone that will accept it too, someone that's got it too. Nothing is more exhausting than endlessly working on yourself. When you offer your whole being fully to love, self-acceptance arises spontaneously. May I rest in oneness divine. I feel like a lot of you are really working on yourselves a lot and healing yourself, and you're like, what is it that's in the way? Well, it's in the way, and you're still smoking pot or something. And it's that you can't get in touch with your guidance system fully, and you can't fully be present for yourself or your guidance system or for a relationship with that thing. And there's no addictions that are better than others. Yeah, and some people will give up one addiction and switch it for another, right? But there's none. Confidence. Divine confidence is completely different from the bravado of the ego. You make space for something larger to take hold. Please fill me with your confidence. Grant me courage I never knew I had. So you're going to have to be courageous. It's not as scary as you think. It really isn't. When I gave up, there was no demons to face. It was turning away from the demon. This one. To be truly fulfilled without it. It takes courage. But then once you've done it, you're like, what I was doing before was harder than this. Be careful, do not take risks. Also, it could have you taking risks as well. Yes, in relationships for sure. Like I said, choosing the wrong one is taking a big risk. And why is it the wrong one? Because they're addicted to. They're not ready for a healthy relationship with that. Spear, heartache over what you no longer have. Long line of addicts, have you? Heartache over what you no longer have. So some of these addicts would have been better relationships than other addicts. But still, it's the same. It's the same stuff. Involvement with the law. Oh wow. Some of you could have had that to do with the addiction, I mean. And a money path. A path with money is waiting for you to find it. So it's keeping your money away from you as well. It's keeping money away from you and love away from you. Not love away from you. It's keeping healthy relationships away from you. Because you can't be, you're not a healthy person getting into it. Yeah. And angel. Spiritual guidance, protection from harm. So you will always be protected from harm. And because you'll be protected from harm, that might make you feel like you're invincible and you can carry on. It's okay that you carry on with that addiction. I like that harm. It's not harming me. This one is a good addiction. This one's healthy. So that you being protected from harm, it might make you feel invincible. It could have you taking risks that you wouldn't, or some person wouldn't take. Right? For sure. Addictions do that for us. I think that's why we are in them or have the addictions. Wow, I didn't expect that. Wow, so it's all about addiction. And you're not being able to take relationships to the next level, especially at the start of relationships. It has you starting relationships wrong or choosing relationships wrong, getting into them the wrong way because of this. So let's get into the deeper dive then. If you want to join me in there, if this is your story, could be your story, you might want to get that. I'll pop a link for it up there. As I said, I'm going to go into guidance for it. There's a link in the description box and in the comments as well. And that's just 20 Australian dollars, which is about 15 American dollars. It's an instant thing, so you need to get your email address right, or otherwise you're not going to receive it. You need to get your address right, to receive the parcel. And so it might end up in your inbox. It might also end up in your spam, your junk, and or your promotions folder if you're on Gmail, so check in those places. In that email, there'll be a link to the crystal, the flower, and the shell. Click on that shell and download a PDF. So you need to do it on a device where you can have access to PDFs, right? And so in that PDF, there'll be information about the reading. There will be a link. No, there will be a special gift in there as well. And then there'll be a picture of me doing a reading and a video, and you click on that and you can watch it straight away. And so there you go. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to click like on this video. Click that subscribe button along with that notification bell to hear more from me. And if this is where you're leaving me, good luck with this. If you're coming with me to the deeper dive, then I'll see you in there very shortly. So, bye.